engineering and construction, these are the types of things. And clearly you all see the road work, but some of this stuff underground you don't necessarily see. You want us underground because that's what keeps your water flowing, that's what keeps your sewer going the other way. So a few pictures, some movies perhaps of our projects. Maybe not. That's okay. 77 active projects. And you think of that as a snapshot. When one finishes, then the 78th is going to be right there in terms of backlog. Repainting our water towers. You know, water towers, redoing it, it's not just repainting it for looks. It's really recoding it, making sure that it's safe to maintain safe water supply. The North Carrollton Park, this is Tor Hill Park. This has got a name to it, it's across from Hebron. A lot of work. Ridgecrest, who lives in Ridgecrest? Nobody, okay. Well, they're really happy because phase 2 is completing. Well, look at those pretty roads. Country Villas, anyone in Country Villas? You can raise your hand just to humor me. A lot of work there as well. Again, a lot of work from an infrastructure perspective as we think about what's happening. The other part that we do is we work with our community with some incentives for low-income families and so forth, those on a fixed budget, to ensure that we have dollars that can make a local impact. So 231 projects completed since 2014 under this program. That's $1.7 million of private investment, not our investment, but private investment that cost us $400,000. So this is putting a small amount of your public funds to work to make sure we take care of blight, if you will, throughout the neighborhoods directly. A few examples for you, before and after. This is a real drug house, right? You ever seen a drug house? That's what it looked on the left, and on the right was the new. I'll let this go through a few times, but it's quite remarkable what a small amount of public funds from an incentive perspective does to arterials, to your neighborhoods, to make sure that your property values are retained, as well as in public spaces. I'm always impressed, and again, thank you to our Property Standards Board and Board of Adjustments, as well as our redevelopment committee. Code enforcement's the other side. When we put forth dollars for your public dollars to work, we want to make sure that we then circle back with a enforcement aspect to that as well. So our code enforcement is able to kind of stay atop. 9,890 cases closed, again, and almost all of them, 97.4%, issued without a ticket. So oftentimes, just nudging your neighbor, nudging the person that's actually making the mess, will get them to clean it up, and that's what our code enforcement is all about. Because why? To keep you safe. Critters, rats, etc. That becomes a rat infestation, if you will, if we don't keep atop of it. So thank you to our code enforcement officers in the back for all they do. In terms of economic development, this is about fueling that sales tax, in addition to property tax, but fueling the sales tax, shifting the burden off of you as homeowners. A few stats up here, and then I'll have some other comments. This is our population, non-majority city, again, 40% white alone, not a single population over 50%. 90,000 employees. As you think about our daytime and our nighttime population, we're very similar day and night. 15,000 companies that employ people throughout the community. There's 90,000. A lot of different food choices across all the spectrum of your palate. One of our signature events, though, and again, I have this here, not to remind you in case you missed it, right? But just to tell you that this is one of our signature events. We are one of the few communities that offer this for free to our community to come and enjoy a family fun environment. And so this was recently reapproved. The scrolling pictures to the right or posters are the various performers that have headline performers that have come in the prior years. But this will be back. Again, we've renewed our contract to make sure that this signature event returns year after year. You can see a lot of people have fun, and that, If you're one of these people, just feel free to stand up and wave. But a lot of people are out there. I know I'm out there every year. That little girl is having a lot of fun. A lot of dancers, cheerleaders make it all that much more enjoyable. The evening night life with the headlining bands. But our visitors come from all over the country, you can see, and this will only continue to grow as as we continue to host this festival. It's absolutely one of the draws in the Metroplex. So now let's talk about the growth of our local economy. 79% increase in sales tax since 2014. 79%, right? What that means is, as we've done that, that's paying for those roads that we talked about. That's paying for things that is reducing your tax rate. So there's a direct correlation to the increase in sales tax and a reduction of your tax bill that you pay for your property tax. 15,000 number of businesses, we continue to grow. That number right there, we've got a brand new, I'm going to talk about it shortly, but there's a brand new company relocating here to Carrollton, bought 5 buildings, bringing 5,000 new jobs to Carrollton, relocating from the Northeast U.S. 24% job growth since 2015, and $23 billion of assessed value. I remember when that was $10-12 billion of assessed value. So this is the growth that you've all seen over the last 10 years or so. So some of the highlights, the Live Golf Tournament, we were fortunate last year to actually host the global team championship for Live. Live and PGA are the 2 major golf tournaments. We hosted them here, over 17,000 in attendance. They would tell you it was 34,000 over the multiple days. The Fisher Investments, again, relocating 138,000 square feet. They're moving into International Parkway where Motel 6 is. So if you think about International Parkway that comes off of Midway by Hebron Parkway, that's where that's at. That's going to bring 5,000 jobs to us. Crow Lodges, 840,000 square feet of industrial space. This is the former Halliburton site, right? So that old Halliburton site is coming out of the ground. It's a smart warehouse. It is the latest and greatest technology to help to fuel this Amazon.com economy that we all live in. Buzzballs. Everyone like adult beverages. Buzzballs, we were hoping they were going to be here. In fact, there's an empty table there. I was hoping they might have some samples, but nothing in it. Marilee's going to tell us about Buzzballs.
And tried to find warehouse space that would accommodate my very low budget. I found Carrollton had a small little 7,000 square foot warehouse. Over the 14 years that we've remained in Carrollton, we've
$17.9 million of capital investment into your local economy.
750,000 square feet, about 1,000 employees working 24/7. Carrollton is special to me because it was close enough to where I was needing to be, and we liked it because of the proximity. We've got like 5 buildings right next door to each other, which is unheard of. If we would have gone to another city, that would have been impossible.
Carrollton is in the DFW area, which is the 4th largest metropolitan area in the United States. My name is Sam Nasiri. I'm the Vice President of Engineering for Buzzballs. Having our manufacturing space consolidated in Carrollton comes with a number of benefits. Carrollton is in the middle of a few highways, which makes it a breeze for logistics, but also makes it really accessible for our employees.
Carrollton boasts 8 distinct industrial districts within its boundaries, hosting a variety of businesses. Frankfurt Trade Center, Trinity Mills area, Old Denton Industrial Complex, Luna Industrial Park, Valwood Industrial Park, Beltline Industrial Corridor, Midway South Industrial, International Parkway. Our one-stop shop serves as the primary point of contact for architects, engineers, and developers managing projects from vision to completion. We oversee the entire development process from rooftop to street center line, ensuring smooth coordination under a single chain of command and involving other departments as needed.
So that's our development shop. And again, as you think about our economic development, as you think about our planning and development in terms of new businesses coming in, here, Robbie Shaw really drives this whole thing. We've merged our development services and our economic development, building inspections and all that. So that's under one hat today, one leader, and that's really allowed us to respond. And so the Fisher Investments that you saw, the Fisher Investments relocation, the Buzzballs expansion, those are all elements that have helped us to attract and grow our local economy. as I spoke about the sales tax being up 75%, it's things like that that we're very proud of. Is this gonna go? New developments, so in addition to companies, a few other new developments that are in work. Some of these you've heard about, some of them are new. Of course, Villas of Prestonwood finishing up, Castle Hills is finishing up, Kensington Place. So that's those are areas that we've completed. Some commercial, Avenida, Clean Works, again, various different areas. We talked about Buzzballs, you see Three Nations Kitchen, Three Nations Brewery. We also have a mead company. Mead is a form of wine, if you will, here in Carrollton. So Carrollton's not only a place to call home that you want to call home, but many of the spirit companies want to call this place home as well. So it's definitely a good place. In terms of under construction, you got Charles Ridge Townhomes, North Place, and Gracewood. Again, you've got 55 homes there. Carroll Crest, another 193 residents or homes coming. The families will follow to them. Carroll Crest is on the bottom. It's Crosby, and just south of Old Downtown on Crosby by Crosby Rec Center. The Charles Ridge Townhomes is over off of Charles, obviously, Northside Place, and then Gracewood, 7 single-family homes over by the museum. In terms of other construction projects that have been approved, upcoming, again, you'll see a few scrolling through there, and I'll let you read those. Take a moment to read them. But there's a lot of good things happening in Carrollton. Diamond Flats, a new mixed-use development. Of course, it complements everything else we're doing from a mixed use. Mixed use, as you hear that term, that is apartment living, if you will, multifamily on the second and upward floors, retail across the bottom. Residence Inn, everyone's been to the Marriott over by Lowe's, right? Well, we have a dual branded hotel going in there. That's the Hampton Inn and Hometown Suites. That's the construction you're seeing now on the frontage road. The Residence Inn will be behind the Marriott. So you can see that there's a lot of investment happening into Carrollton. This is attracting dollars into Carrollton. In terms of our master plan downtown, again, downtown, everyone's familiar with it. So as we think about our core development areas, we've got the area up off of by International Parkway. That's going to bring about a $1 billion development that the Billingsley Company is doing there. It'll be mixed use. It'll be office, and it's about $1 billion development. The downtown area we've been at. This is a marathon, right? We've done a lot of different phases on this already. When the Green Line came in, we were already there with some mixed use. We transformed that downtown square that used to be a decaying shopping center into a thriving park with all the merchants around. This plan basically is going to take, and it gets launched on, no joke, April 1st. We approved the final master plan, and this is where we're basically going to have north, south, east, and west from what you know is the downtown square today. So over the next, and it's not going to happen overnight. These things take time, but next 10 years, 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to see all 4 quadrants of that intersection fully expand that downtown tax base and that downtown experience as we move forward. So April 1st, that'll be actually coming out with the final document. A little bit of a air cover of our downtown and our transit agencies, our transit zones. Of course, downtown is our heart. So that's where we started back in 1913. Carroll Crest, some of the developments that we just spoke about on the highlights in terms of where they're at. A lot of food choices in the downtown area. More coming. TxDOT, not Carrollton. TxDOT working on the interstate continues to be a bit of a long project. Here's our locations. Again, I know many of you are very passionate, but the silos, you just saw a rendition of what the silos are going to be looking like. Those will be announced here, and in April that paint will be going on the silos, so it'll transform what you've seen on the silos there.
For 40 years.
The Silver Line, again, Silver Line is the east-west. This can go from the airport all the way to Plano. It comes right through us. You saw the bridge there across Josie. When that's done, it'll be illuminated. It's going to be a very nice look to it. But the Silver Line is really going to be an economic fuel as well for the business travelers coming into DFW, getting off the plane, not having to rent a car, so to speak, get on the rail and head to Carrollton, head to Capel, head to Plano, and ultimately to Richardson for their work. The project's been going on for a long time. That's the bridge I was talking about. It's a beautiful bridge as you pass under it. It'll be more so when it's illuminated. Throughout much of this corridor, we have sound walls to ensure that it doesn't bother the neighborhoods. This is in conjunction with DART, and the Silver Line, of course, is the trains. You may have seen those trains start, but this fare service will start at the end of next year. Of course, any questions? Doug is our liaison on the DART board. Doug, please, please. He works really hard. Let me tell you, I've watched a lot of these DART board meetings. They go for hours and hours and hours, and I'm just so amazed and so thankful for the endurance and the perseverance that Doug has with DART. Our Trinity Mill Station, this is over by where the old Home Depot used to be. You've seen that this park exists. So now we're going to cover some rendition to reality. This is another update. This whole project and quadrant of the interstate at George Bush and 35 should be completing in about a year. The office and the next phase should be breaking ground in time. The funding, international funding's en route, so I think that's about ready to start. But let's just kind of go through this. Again, you've seen some of these before, but again, we've got Class A office, Class A, or some of the mixed use multifamily, a lot of retail space, and parking in particular. That's something that was important that we learned with some of the other developments. That office building is the one I'm referring to that's getting ready to break ground, and their financing is coming from international sources. This is the rendition to reality Trinity Mill Station. Winter scenes, winter wonderland, but 25 acres there right at George Bush and 35, clearly changing the front door of Carrollton. As we think about our transit zone districts, we look for that live, work, and play environment, right? So you can live there, you can work there, and you can definitely play there. Like I said, rendition to reality, you're seeing, this is real live construction projects. It's well past this now. If you drive out there, by the park there, you'll see these. I'm sure they're pre-leasing at this stage. Won't be long. By the end of the year, calendar year, they'll be actually having occupants in that building as well. If the plan comes together just perfectly, the office and the mixed-use residents will all come in at the same time. Big if. Big if. Again, this is right there. The project location is right there at 35 and George Bush. You can see the pointer there. This other side over by which we call the NCTA property, but it's District 35. It's complementary to this development. We're working. We're going to market right now, and RFPs dropping in the market, and this will be a conference hotel. Destination entertainment district that will complement what we're doing with the balance of it. Something really special will come into that. Not ready to speak yet to it, but I think you'll all be very excited. Who loves pets? I know you all have bunnies in your yard. I know I do. 260 dog adoptions. I love kitties. 244 of them. Our staff that works tirelessly, and they're such, they face such a difficult job at times. The chickens too. 10 chickens, along with those 617 rescued animals. 587 successful returns of those fur babies. I love this little guy on the end here, this little hamster. Very cute, very cute. Now let's talk about the downtown. We've done the drainage yard. So drainage yard is an area that represents a palette. So we've been putting local artists, we've had competitions. This costs the city very, very little dollars, right? What's more important about this is creating a template or a canvas for these artists to show off their own work. So they do it, they spend the time, they get out there, The second phase of this, first phase is already done. The second phase is getting ready to be announced in terms of the voting and the winners. And then they will start painting as the weather gets warm permanently. But you can see, artists of all ages were involved in the first phase. Anyone been out there to see the drainage art exhibits in downtown? If you haven't, it's a great opportunity. That, as well as some others, represents some great picture times. And while you're down there, have lunch. Maybe go to Three Nations, enjoy yourselves. A lot of coffee shops as well. The sustainability plan is right smack dab in the middle there, because it's important that we recognize that as we develop and we redevelop, sustainability is the key. Making sure that what we do today is going to last for the long term, not just short-term gain, but long-term is what we're looking for. And so we're fortunate on that. As you think about what we do to support that, it touches all aspects of the city, but we work very closely with our manufacturers as well. This year, Councilmember Fleming led our Environmental Distinction Award program, where we recognize our local manufacturers for the work they're doing to ensure that we are doing right by the environment. And so we recognize many repeat winners for year after year after year, but it really just shows that just as you're responsible, our business community, our manufacturing community is equally as responsible. Library time. The library today is far different than when many of us were kiddos, right? Some of you not necessarily, right? But some stats to share with you. Board games, hey, it is a source for board games, right? They check out anything and everything. Borrowed and renewed materials, 580,000 checkouts, if you will, in terms of materials. Digital is really the game changer. We have 164,000. It won't be long, and that digital and the paper copy will be balancing out. A lot of 5,925 new library cards. So again, as we get new residents, as we get new growth in our city, they're coming and they're seeing the library for what it is. It is absolutely a connection to the rest of the world. It's a gateway to the rest of the world. Hotspots is clearly that gateway to the internet. A lot of questions. Our staff is so great in terms of responding to questions there. We appreciate them. Kiddos of all ages. They host events there as well. Comic-Con, I'll speak to shortly, but the library, maybe we're skipping that one. So the library hosts a lot of events. The Blue Trail as well. Is this going to go by? All right. So the Elk Fork Nature Preserve, again, anybody been out to the Nature Preserve? This is over by a lot of you. I remember when our kids were young, they heard the Polar Express read there and so forth. This is an area that we're applying some investment as well. Perry Homestead, again, this is our only museum. This is where it all started for Carrollton in terms of our history back to the days of the land grab and land rush, if you will. But a lot of improvements there on the inside as well as outside. So if you haven't been there, I encourage you to do so. The Blue Trail drainage improvements. Again, we're always expanding our trail systems. I'll speak more to that in a moment. And then enhancing the public amenities, not only for all aspects, those that are looking for really anything you can find within our Parks and Rec group. I'll just let that kind of flow through, and you'll see some of these items. McKinnish Park updates as well. So now Wood Lake. Wood Lake is going to get back on track. I'm assured that this is weather has kind of delayed us. We had to deal with some environmental concerns with some mussels, rare species of mussels. But the Wood Lake Park is mobilizing, and you'll see the crew back out there, and that project will come to fruition now. It's something that we've been all been patient on. That is the park, the lake that's right there at Peters Colony and Joe's. Okay. Of course, we had a time capsule reveal that went back 50 years. That was fun to kind of 25 years, excuse me. It was fun to pull out the historical documents that were in there. But a lot of good things happening from our Parks and Rec team as well. our rec center, everyone been to the rec center, right? Yes? The inside track is a lot of fun. Get your steps in when the weather is cold like we had. We opened it up and I think it's been full every single day. The inside track while the kiddos are playing downstairs. This is a multi-purpose court. Certainly basketball, volleyball, pickleball, some of the other aspects. That's a pickleball court there. You can work out again while the kiddos are playing downstairs if you want to keep an eye on them. Or of course we still have the gym, the workout room back down by the dog park. The esports is also something that we've expanded to this rec center. Again, it's back to understanding that the rec center of tomorrow is not what it used to be. It's both the mental dexterity as well as the physical. The historical pictures there, those are your kids, those are your families, those are historical pictures. I encourage you to go out there and take a peek and see what's there. But it's really, those were your bond dollars. This is something that you all voted on. We executed this and opened it this last year, but this is just another example of, what happens today started oftentimes 10 years earlier, and it's definitely credit to our prior council members and staff for all the work they do. Trail systems, again, we have currently 35 miles of existing trails. We're expanding that to 47. You can look at that. This trail system here is on the master plan. It's on the website. All this information is on the website, fully transparent. On golf, any golfers in the room, our golf course, if you're not a golfer, you're not paying for it. Our golf course is funded by the golfers, okay? The green fees service their own operations. It also services their debt. So that's not to say that there's not an occasional act of God, if you will, a storm that comes through that we have to loan a little bit, but we loan it and they repay it. And so this is all covered by the golfers. If you're not a golfer, you're not paying for it. All right, what else? Okay, now Comic-Con. March 1, we have Tex Fest. I'm going to let this scroll so you can write these down, okay, into your diary. It's also on the website. But a lot of events coming up. Again, this is where our Parks and Rec, our marketing team working out. We always have something fun going on, but March 1st is Tex Fest, March 7th is Comic-Con. Let's hear a little bit about Tex Fest.
There's no other like it, stars at night, oh big and bright, and all around the world it's known. I'll tell you about my Texas home. This is how we Texas. This is how we Texas. This is how we Texas.
You can ride the bull, you can do some two-stepping. Go out there, you might see me doing some two-stepping. You might, I said you might. Obviously, fair foods out there, a lot of vendors. Just a good family fun. It's free concerts. Always a fun spring event. Crafts, magic shows, a lot of fun for the kids. Be your favorite superhero or Star Wars figure. That's March 7th, Josie Ranch Lake Library, right next door. For scrolling through all the events all the way through June, guess what? It doesn't stop in June. We have events throughout the year. But certainly a good kickoff to summer, September. Pause on the Square is coming up on March 15th, along with the rabies. Pause on the Square. I'm sorry, April 5th is Pause on the Square. Bring the dogs out. They have ice cream and other things for them. April 5th, our public safety officers will be out at the Standard Stadium on April 5th. Come on out and visit with them. Watch a live aerial rescue and visit with your firemen up close. The kiddos can climb all over the equipment. It's all fun. And then, of course, some other events that are shown there as well. So with that, again, as you can see, the state of the city is indeed bright. What a great picture that is. But it's really the hard work of our staff, the hard work of our volunteers, the boards and commissions members, and this council up front here, the A-team. So again, if you'll please stand with me for my council. Again, we appreciate you. More importantly, we appreciate